Okay, everyone. Well, hey, thank you for again, welcome you to the Go for CEO community. Looking forward to this amazing interview today. Excited that it's a yet another different industry for you to learn from of what it took to really go for CEO, right? Become the owner of your own business, the mindset, the shifting of everything that you need to do, and then learning the marketing, the operations, the scaling, and how do you get around kind of just growing in your business. So excited to have yet another friend, a person that I've built the relationship over the last few years. I've seen him grow this type of business, and really excited for what he's going to share with you. In fact, later on in the video, if you stick around, you're going to see how to be growing old young, and that's a phrase that our guest is going to share with you a little bit later, and a little bit of information on the video side of things. So for those of you listening just on our Spotify or iTunes, stay tuned because it's still phenomenal information later on. And oh, by the way, I'm learning this too. Smash that like button. Leave a comment for David. He'll share with you some insights of what he's going to share with you back. And then, subscribe to the channel if you really enjoy the information that's coming on. So again, let's have this wonderful guest on, friend now over the last few years, been doing some incredible stuff in the health and wellness space, and really just an independent contractor entrepreneur, Mr. David Munoz. Welcome to the Go for CEO channel.
John, thank you, and hello everybody, and appreciate your bringing me on the Go for CEO channel. It's a privilege to be with you, and yeah, you know what? Life is fun. Life is fun, especially when you grow old younger. I deal with so many people, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge getting old. Right now, John, I'm sure you're familiar with the Center for Disease Control. They're so much in tune these days, and it seems that everyone is just very cognizant these days of staying healthy, and not only staying healthy, but boosting your immune system, making sure that you're not a victim, not only to, of course, the COVID disease we have, but also for the number one killer of men and women these days. A lot of people don't know it, but 1 out of 3 people is victim to cardiovascular disease, especially in my generation.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah,
what it's all about.
it's so important really to, I just read, I think it was, if you don't maintain your health, you're going to waste your wealth, right? Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and if you don't pursue wealth, then you won't be able to maintain your wealth because you did maintain it younger. It could be a tragedy in the end, right? So craziness. But tell us a little bit about kind of your background and how you started in the health and wellness space, because I think one of the things I shared in the title here is just that transition. You actually retired and then had an encore career here that is even more robust than your career. It's pretty amazing. Can you share a little bit about how you started?
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I learned something along the way, especially when I transitioned from a corporate world to the what I call the fun world, and you could call it a networking world. That income is a heck of a lot better than salary. And I want that to sink into the people that are listening to us. You'll get a salary, and you're happy, you take it home every day, but in a mindset you're limited. But when you have income and you have control over the income you could make, it's fun. It's fun because the ceiling is unlimited. Now talk about ceilings. When I was my background is finance. My background, I was in banking for about 35 years. Started off with Northern Trust Bank here in Chicago. And I eventually, as I grew in the business, I was transferred to Miami. Why? Because I was bilingual, and they had an office starting up back in the early 80s. So I helped build that office, and I was with Northern Trust in Miami for about 2, 3 years before I was snatched up by a bank called Nations Bank, which later on became Bank of America, and got a chance to travel to Central and South America, and my banking career flourished. I was operations manager at one time. I got into networking because one day when I was in the office, somebody said, "Come and see this amazing machine that they brought into the bank." And I saw a little curly paper cut. They said, "It's a fax machine." I said, "Whoa, it's a fax machine." This is way before, the PCs. And of course, I got to get intrigued. And then later on, we had a network system called a Novell. It was called a straight line network, where if you disconnected one computer, everything came down. And I got into that, and of course, but there's something interesting, John, and I want to share this with the people that are listening. When you are in a corporate world, you're going to find that if you want to survive, you've got to wear different hats. So let's say I started off in operations, right? And you go up, it's almost like a pyramid scheme. I call the corporate world a pyramid scheme. They go up, and as you go up, make a lot of friends, but the closer you get to the top, to the positions, competitive positions, what you find is your friends all become, possibly, your enemies. I remember one time I was sitting in the office and my manager called me in, and it was a new manager, and he was trying to motivate everyone. And I was at that time I was in charge of what's called the investigations department, which customers' complaints came in, and I would have a team that we would address it and address the complaints. And he said, David, where would you like to be in 3 to 5 years? And I looked across, I said, Lauren, that was his name, Lauren, I'd like to be in your seat. I want to be doing what you're doing. And all of a sudden, his whole complexion changed. I said, oops. And that's what happened with the pyramid thing. So eventually, within 3-4 months, I was out of the department. I was out of his area.
Wow.
But I was in operations, I was in technology, and I ended my career with Chase here in Chicago, in the financial services industry. And I'm a financial advisor. I had a Series 63 licenses. And of course, I did the investment side, which was a lot of fun also. But I found myself changing hats because it's the survival instinct. And it was always salary based. And one of the best days of my life was when I turned 62 and I said, I am out of here, leave the corporate world. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I started transitioning in what I'm doing now, which is the health and wellness business.
Awesome. And you've branded, it's called in Spanish, Su Buena Salud, your good health. I've had the pleasure of being on your radio station and the hours that you put on there and some of the growth. So, you mentioned just such an incredible journey, right? And that little nugget that you shared. And look, corporate America it's a great thing. There's a lot of employment and a lot that you can learn from. I talk about alignment and everything, but truly, what you experienced in that one little statement, can be something that many, many people are struggling with. And at Go for CEO, if you have that mindset that you were basically an entrepreneur, because you always treated your position as if you were the man in charge, right? But now transition into kind of the mindset. Did you find this health and wellness space and synergy and everything that you're doing just before you left, or once you left, you started searching for the right business?
Well, that's a great story, John. I'm glad you asked me that because the transition is interesting in itself. I always was a entrepreneurial mindset. I always knew that I could be of service to individuals. Why do I know that? Because of the kind of people I saw coming into the bank. When you're in a branch, you see the different levels of people and the different needs. As a financial advisor, I was frustrated a lot of times because I saw a person coming in who didn't know how to do a budget every month. I saw people emptying out their retirement accounts to address emergencies that happen in their house. And I could see their accounts draining. All they needed was some advice in terms of managing their money. However, in the branch that I was in, they said, no, your job is not to teach them how to manage money. If they have money problems, give them a credit card. Holy smokes, So that was frustrating. So the transition I made was I was looking for the opportunity to get into a business that would really help the Hispanic community. That's why it's called Su Buena Salud, the company brand I have. And help the people of my generation, people in the 50s and 60s that are beginning to have challenges with their health. So one day, as again, wearing another hat, I was in charge of the opening up business accounts in a branch. And this was, I don't know, about 2011, something like that. A guy came into the bank and said, I want to open up an account. And one of the things I hate, John, or I hated, or I had my opinion about it was network marketing. You know why? because every time somebody would come into the bank to open up a Herbalife, Tupperware, Omni Life, or some of those great companies, and I respect and I love those natural and health and wealth companies, but at that time it says, oh, here comes another one. They're going to open up the account, and you know what's coming next. They're going to try to recruit me. So I said, I don't want that. So a guy came in and he sat in front of me. He said, I want to open up a business account. I said, okay, let's, what kind of account? He says, oh, it's a natural product. I said, okay. So I braced myself, and the guy opened up the account. But what caught my attention, John, he opened it up with one product. It wasn't a line of products. It was, oh, if you go do this, there's a line. And he worked with a company called Synergy Worldwide, which is this one. And he said, it's one product. And this one product, and I want to show you the box here, it's called Pro Arginine Plus. And I said, well, what's great about this product? He says, well, I'm getting into it now. I want to know it's nitric oxide based, but it's the only product that controlled my wife's high blood pressure. I said, okay. I said, what else? He says, well, people that suffer from cardiovascular disease, people with diabetes and high blood pressure and Alzheimer's, it's all related to the blood flow. And this product just came out in 2008, and it's going to change the world. So the product is not that old. And I said, wow, that's interesting stuff you're telling me. Now, what occurred to me, John, was that in my family, I lost my mom, unfortunately, a little personal, but I lost her to diabetes in 1992, way back. And I saw my mom's health deteriorating. And then the same thing was happening to Dad later on in life. And I asked him, does that help diabetes? He says, well, diabetes, high blood pressure, sugar really damages the cardiovascular system. And it does help. And so one thing led to another. I says, well, the next time you're in the branch, just bring me a box. I'd like to try it, because I was a pre-diabetic. I didn't tell him I was a pre-diabetic. It runs in the family. And one thing led to another. I tried the product, felt great, sent it to my dad in Puerto Rico. His blood sugar was 200, and within 4 months, it went down to 120. And I said, wait a minute, there's something interesting about this. So I started doing my own investigation, which I tell my clients, don't believe me. Do your own research. Anybody can say anything. Do your own research, and then come back and we'll talk. And I did, and I found out a lot of valuable things about, not only the product, but the company, the people you work with, the compensation plan, and that started. So that bug started getting my ear. Within 2 years, I was sharing it, and one day I shared it with a guy that works on a radio, a good friend of mine, and he tried it. His cardiologist said nitric oxide is one of the best things you could take for your heart. He had a heart condition. Within a couple of months, he was feeling so good. He invited me to the radio, John.
Oh, wow.
So he interviewed me in Spanish, and I just shared what I'm sharing with you, what I felt and my journey to improved health, and my journey to never depending upon meds rather than just natural products to get me to the state I am now. That this was years ago, maybe 8, 9 years ago. And when the audience heard me, my phone started ringing. So here I am at the branch, putting my phone on mute, zzz, 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 and I said, something's interesting here. I think I caught the attention of a lot of people, and the business started growing. And so by the time I did retire from banking, I made the transition pretty easily, because then it began to grow. And the rest is history. I've got distributors all over the city. I pride myself, John, in saying that my distributors that I have for the products I represent, I do not recruit. I do not, people say, you're in network marketing, you don't recruit. No, I don't. I just don't like that. I never did. So what I do is I share. And I share it. I say, you try it. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I give you your money back. And that's my motto. And that's been my motto for years that I've been in the business. And that's how I got my distributors. They tried it. They said, I got to get into this, And now I have several spots in the city. The customers call me. And like any business, John, at first you're running around like a chicken without a head, because you're delivering products and you're trying to make your money grow. You're growing a little bit into debt. I shouldn't say that. You grow into investments, wise investments. And then eventually it starts coming back. And now, of course, I don't need to do the running around. They call me. I said, where do you live? I got one here. Go get them, and support the distributors. So that's kind of my journey. It's been fun.
I love the journey. I mean, really just the explanation of being somewhere, talking to an unexpected conversation, being open, even though you were kind of closed off a little bit at the beginning, thinking that you were going to get this feeling of recruiting. But it was almost like the takeaway that he didn't really
Exactly.
he didn't really like aggressively go after you. He just let the stuff, speak for itself. You shared a little bit of kind of just, you got excited, you got the product, you shared it with your dad in Puerto Rico, you see a difference. So what was maybe the capital investment, since we're on a Go for CEO channel, what's the capital investment to get started as an independent contractor in that position?
Well, that's the beauty of network marketing that I discovered. A lot of people, when you start businesses, you have to invest a lot of money in terms of, overhead and inventory and things like that. But in network marketing, you really invest in people and you invest your knowledge, you share your knowledge. And of course, you have to have products. At first, I needed to invest, I don't know, I'd say $2,000 in having a small inventory of products because you need to have product when they call you. As you know, in sales, you really don't sell the product. You sell emotion. You sell energy. You sell excitement. And the people see through you. They can know when you're genuine or not. So, just like taking an aspirin for a headache, you take it, you know the headache's going to go away because typically it works, but it's just a small pill. So I say you try the product. Experience what I experienced, feel the energy I feel, know that, John, in our generation, statistically, over 50, people over 50, typically, I'd say about, I don't know, over 60% of the people take at least one pharmaceutical prescription, and,
Wow.
50 in America. And if you're over 60, you take at least 3 prescription meds a day. The statistic, over 75 of the people over 60. And it's incredible that our society has become dependent on meds. So what I transfer to my clients is this. When you're sick, you typically have 3 choices in life. Number 1, you do nothing, you live a poor quality of life, and you die young. Okay, you become a statistic, basically. Like I said, 1 out of 3 people will die of a cardiovascular related sickness, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, something. Number 2, your second choice is you live on meds. And that's so fine too. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to argue with the doctors. I mean, if that's a choice, personal choice. However, you have to recognize that simply a bandage to an underlying problem. So you can live on meds the rest of your life, realize that you have to deal with the side effects, and you may or may not live a poor quality life, but you will be dependent on meds. And number 3, take control yourself, start doing your research, your own research, and identify a way in which you can restore your body's natural state by reversing the negative effects of cardiovascular health, which is what I call the nitric oxide miracle. Nitric oxide is what the product that I showed you earlier, this Proprietor Plus, this is what it creates in your body. And it has just the power to be able to, what I call, reverse the clock, and allows you to grow old. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. On a lot of our interviews, we talk about strategy and marketing, and you just went over really branding, right? The power of how you feel about the product has become your showcase, your voice behind it. I know that on your radio show, you expressed that as well. And with the clientele, and looks like the distributorship team that you've grown. So tell us a little bit about, you said that you're not actively out there scaling your business, but because of the way that the product has helped other people become interested. So what's some of the ways that you've been able to form a team, an organization, and educate them and further that growth of your business?
Well, originally, when you first start, you have to get the word out. You have to, sell yourself or sell what your passion, what you're all about. And I did quite a few seminars. Aside from the radio, which I have my own radio show called Buena Salud. Right now we're off the air, but we're in transition because industry changes. Social media is just incredible. So initially you start branding yourself as a individual who has a resource for su buena salud, your better health. And as I told you, there was an initial investment, but then in network marketing, there's really 4 or 5 ways you make money. And so the way my business started growing, aside from sharing my passion and sharing what I represent, is that first of all, when you get an inventory, you make money on the resale value. So you buy it for 40, you sell it for 60 or sell it for 50, you make a profit there. The second way my business started growing and making money is basically the people that wanted to join me. And again, I didn't call them, they just called me and said, incredible, it's changed my mom's life. I can tell you a couple testimonials. One lady, just a segue here, one lady saw her mother when her mother was, I'd say late 50s, early 60s, she had pain in her hands. And the pain in her hands didn't let her pick up, a water bottle or a cup or something. She would fall. It would just fall out of her head because she was just feeling pain. She didn't know it, but it was blood flow issues. And she went to one of my seminars. And all of a sudden, within a few months, she was sweeping and cleaning in the house. And her daughter saw her and says, "Mom, what are you doing? I mean, aren't your hands hurting?" The mother said, I don't know. I just feel better. What are you taking? So the mother took the daughter and showed her, I'm taking this thing. I just heard a guy in a seminar and I've been taking it for a couple months. Now the lady's able to, pick up her grandkids and enjoy life, better quality of life. That's just one of many, many testimonials. So what did the daughter do? The daughter says, I have a business in modeling. I just contract, models and we put them on in commercials and everything else. She says, but I want to include your product in my store. I said, what are you talking? She says, I want to put my mom to work in a little corner of my store because she's so excited. Make her a distributor. So I did. And one thing led to another. Eventually the mom got on the radio show and, we made a great team. And of course, the venue that she had for her models, I used that same venue to do seminars. So I'm going to go back to the seminars and the talks. So that's one way. So one way is a seminar is you resell the product. The other way is when you bring on a distributor, you give what's called a bonus because you bring on a distributor. So that's a nice little bonus that you get, not necessarily because it's so much money, only because of the joy you have into sharing it and bringing somebody on board. Another way to make money, John, it's commissions. When you build a network marketing business, and those that are familiar with it know that you have a strong leg and a weak leg, Synergy Worldwide will pay you commissions on your weak leg every single month. And I want to tell you, I've been on it for about 8 years now, and I've never missed a single check. And I love that about the company. And the other way you make money is through something called percentage income based upon your own purchases. So when you order product, they have a threshold. Thresholds, they'll give you 25% of what's called of the product value. So it's an algorithm they use, but certainly it's a lot of fun. It's one of my best sources of making money because the more products you order and the more products your distributors order, the more percentages and checks come in. So it's a lot of fun. In other words, again, income is so much better than salary. And so the business grows that way with a very little investment of $2,000 that has since long been paid off. The business just started, it's like a snowball. It started moving fast. And as long as you stay on top of it, customer retention is important, John. You know me. I have right here all of my customers. You send them one of these, right? You show them how grateful you are. You send them a magnet. You send them, a birthday card, things like that. It's so important to be able to retain the business you have, retain the relationships you have, so that as you bring on more, of course, the other ones stay. It's just. Yeah. So now I don't know if I've answered your question, but that's how I make my money. it's all in relationships, it's all in touches, it's all in doing something more than if you want to call it competition. I don't have competition, but if you want to call it competition, that the other people do.
No, I love it. I mean, you learn a lot from what you just shared. Basically the rhythm kind of how you grew your business, how you let the marketing involve itself. It's kind of self-generated organically, and then the levels of payments. Obviously, as we talk about sometimes on this channel, the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, cash flow quadrants, employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. At the corporate world, you trade your hours for dollars, or maybe a salary for your time. But
Yeah.
what you
And
did,
can I put a plug in to the seniors that are listening, John?
yeah,
Life starts after 62, guys. All right? The second half of your life is so much fun if you make it fun. You've got to make it fun. And the way it becomes fun is if you're in good health. If you're
I
on
love it.
meds, if you're feeling crappy, you're retired.
Yeah.
Basically, nothing else to do. But this second half of my life is just fun because I'm running through it. And,
You
and
know,
it's great.
I've watched you, right? I mean, I know we've had some picnics together where you've gone out and blasted out 18 push-up or pull-ups and more than I could do. And I was like, man, this guy's just energetic and fun. And yeah, I mean, you could feel your energy. So I hope that people do recognize that whatever age you're at, you can always either restart, have that mindset of being a CEO in your mind and grow. And that's what you did, right? You branded this
Buena Salud, man.
yeah, Buena Salud, and just kind of the overall dynamics of it. You had just said obviously the four levels of getting paid. I was kind of sharing the ability to have that multiple streams of income is so huge in growing that part of it. So let's go into just what's kind of now your day to day, so that people can understand. You've grown a significant team. You've got different marketing strategies. You've got this product that's flowing from wholesale to retail, and then you're reordering product. What's your day-to-day now, kind of just looking at your organization and how you feel about, running it for the next 5, 10, 20 years?
Well, you know what? Once you get your organization to a certain level in network marketing, obviously you've done your YouTube videos. You've given a presentations. In fact, this morning I have a presentation right after ours. I'll have some breakfast and then I'll go to another segue. But you run into people in our industry, at least in my generation, they have a lot of needs, and believe it or not, John, I've started another business, so because my generation needs things like financial services, which goes back to my banking days. A lot of people are running out of money before they run out of month. And that's a big problem. And then when you're a senior, it's a bigger problem. You're going to wind up as a greeter in Walmart, and I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to control it, so that seniors want three things. They want their money, the money that they have, they want their money to grow. They don't want it to lose. Very important. Two, they want to make sure that that money's protected, right? And it lasts them the rest of their life. And three, they want to make sure that at the end of their life, they have something to give and not become a burden. So in my generation, you have things like final expenses. We need it. Everybody needs an expense. So I found that in my conversations with people that are feeling better, living longer, living better quality life, now they have a purpose. I'll say, okay, so let me help you strategize your life, give you more peace of mind, help you, let's get you, a final expense plan. The other avenue is Medicare. My generation needs Medicare. So on the side, I said, maybe I should get a Medicare license. So I did. That side is exploding now. It makes it a lot of fun, which people need to get a good quality healthcare plan. So I find that when you start a business and you have groomed it and you babysat it, it almost runs by itself, where you could pay more attention to other sides, and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 different cash flows, which again is a lot of fun when you're retired. because you get Social Security from one side, and then you get business cash flow from the others. And if you're feeling good, you're always creative.
That's awesome.
John, really a couple of quick, short testimonials, if I could. A guy
Yeah.
calls me on the radio, right? And he says, mi señora me llama viejito porque camino como viejito. And translated, that means my wife is saying I look like an old man because I'm walking like an old man. I says, well, what's wrong? He says, my feet, they hurt. I just love to run, but my feet has hurt so much. And I knew right away, not because I'm a doctor or nothing like that. I just knew from experience that cardiovascular problems occur in the feet. Your feet hurt, or you might have shaky leg syndrome or something like that. And I said, you know what? I tell all my customers, I says, the most expensive product that you can buy is the one that doesn't work. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. And they say, yeah, I do. I said, okay, so let's get the money side out of the way, because your issue is pain. Your issue, you want quality of life. He says, yes. So the guy starts taking nitric oxide therapy one a day or twice a day, depending how fast you want it to work. And his veins and arteries start getting better. And we'll go to that slide in a minute, John, that we talked about at the beginning of the program. And within 2 months, he's calling me back at the radio show, and he's saying, I'm on my treadmill again. I said, no kidding. He says, yeah. I said, well, what do your wife says? She says nothing. Now she's sending me to the grocery stores and doing everything. I said, I've gotten my life. People sometimes think they have to live on meds the rest of their life to get a quality of life. No, there is a better way. You got to take control. Remember, the doctor's there to make you feel better. And if he's a good doctor, he's going to give him his bumps on his chest when he says, my patient no longer needs meds. I did my job. I restored his health. They're much better than when they first walked in the door. Rather than saying, now you got 4 meds, I'm going to put you on 8 meds. No, that's not the answer. So take control and trust your instincts, and start feeling better, and better quality of life.
The passion shines through, David.
When you're in a position that your life intersects the life of someone else, and as a result, that person lives a better quality life, and their family loves you, and your family sees the change, and you just feel emotional just by seeing the transformation. The problem is there's not enough people that know about it, because natural-based products, are not good for the pharmaceutical industry.
No, and that's part of marketing, right? And
Yeah.
just growing your base, growing the radio, growing the social media, growing your distributorship. I mean, you've talked about different areas of business and how you're thinking about it and what you're growing. I love that you also shared, and thank you for sharing that, is the way to also pivot within your business, right? You've watered, you've grown this one, and it's growing, and now you're seeing an opportunity where, hey, the final expense, there's another avenue, and you've teamed up with some of the best companies out there, and also then the Medicare, again, teamed up with your one of the best groups out there. So excited to see kind of how your mind switched from being an employee, which you were always owning that position, but now you're having fun at what's the age right now, David?
68, dude. 50 push-ups every morning.
68. This guy's 68. Okay, at what you would think sometimes, he's in the twilight. This guy,
Yeah, that's right.
Started.
Just getting started, dude.
So excited. I see the family in your background as
Yes.
the people that you love, and what an incredible story. I hope Go for CEO community. I hope you reshare and like and subscribe, because this is another unique type of story.
Let me share that slide, John.
Definitely. Let's do that. So
Real quick.
we're gonna end the end of this is always with, hey, client experience for the C of Go for CEO. What's the difference and why you make it different? And I know you have a couple secrets that you've shared offline. Employee engagement, which in this case is your distributors, your independent contractors that you work with. How do you make them feel special to stay on your team? And then operational excellence. What have you done to see how your operation works and systematize that? So let me get you the host, and then we'll answer those 3 questions to end the video today.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he has taken control and has a little bit different showing today on our Go for CEO. So go ahead, David.
All right, give me a chance to just switch here. I want to show you this real quick. Let's see here. Can you see this slide that I have here? You should see something. As we age, we lose 85% of our ability to make nitric oxide. See that? Okay, so if you look at the top where it says 20, 30s, 40s, 50s, as you age, the lining of your veins and arteries is called the endothelium. It's a very small tissue that is really the walls of the veins and arteries. When the endothelium is sick, when it's not healthy, your body tends to accumulate plaque and grease. And of course, being a Latino and all the stuff we eat, right, our diet is not the best. But as we age, the amount of something called nitric oxide molecules function is to help improve the health of the endothelium. As we age, the level of nitric oxide deteriorates. Nitric oxide is produced in your body by something called L-arginine. It is an amino acid recognized in the book published by Dr. Luis Ignarro called No More Heart Disease. This is a Spanish version, but it's a book I would recommend, No More Heart Disease by Dr. Luis Ignarro. He won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1998 by discovering that if you have ample quantities of L-arginine in your bloodstream and L-citrulline and other things, you increase the levels of nitric oxide. For that, he won the Nobel Prize. 10 years later, in 2008, came out Proprietor Plus, which is the product based upon the Nobel science that helps increase the nitric oxide and reverse the aging process and clear out what you see here in the 60s, the amount of plaque and grease that you have in your veins and arteries. So all I want to say is there is a way to increase the levels of nitric oxide. It's called the nitric oxide miracle. Take one portion of L-arginine a day, Proprietor Plus, and your body creates nitric oxide and starts clearing out the veins and arteries. And that's what I wanted to share, John.
I love it, and it's making me think, right? I'm 44, turning 45 in about 3 weeks, and why wait till your 60s? Why wait? Why not start in your 40s? My wife also, unfortunately, over the last few years, has had something a little bit different type of tachycardia, it's called, which is like a rhythm thing.
Yeah.
But when you talked about just the feeling of the hands and the feet and kind of, she's always cold in those extremities. That's obviously blood flow. So you made me think even today on this interview, what I should be doing why am I not investing in that, right? Investing in some of that.
Well, it all starts in their 50s. When I was 51, I had a mild heart attack. So, and then the doctor told me, you got to be on pills the rest of your life. And that changed, when I discovered the product. But yeah, it starts. So it's important we take care of ourselves.
I love it. And thanks so much for sharing. I appreciate, kind of taking that route and really just understanding, hey, here's what we can do. So if you could give me the host back so I could stop the recording at one point here.
Okay,
I'll ask you for that. Sorry for the interruption, everybody, but help us get through this here, and then we'll get back to the last 3 questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're learning a lot today. Seeing the way that the value is of, if you're in a job right now and you're watching this video, look at Dave, 68 years old, started investigating something in his late 50s, deals with a client, feels that understanding of like, wow, this is something that could be special, listened to his gut, bought the product, became involved with something, didn't have any preconceived notions of, wow, this is kind of weird, I'm going to start selling product. No, he valued the love and the passion that he got from it. He saw the actual results from his dad in Puerto Rico, and he went all in mindset, in understanding the business, and understanding the slide that he just showed right now is just really doing your homework and becoming a professional, a CEO of your company. So awesome. I think did you send the host back to me?
You should have the host back.
No, not
unless
yet.
I don't know how to do it here.
If you go to your name under participants, and then
All right.
the little box should come up of more, and it should send the host back to me.
Let's see. I just have 3 options: live on Facebook, Workplace, and YouTube. So it doesn't. Let's see here.
Well, we can keep on going. So if you just stop the recording, because it left my choice here on my screen. So, well, not yet, but just stop the recording at the bottom.
All
I
right.
should have a choice of participants QA.
Sure, I'll do that.
So, all right, let's get to the end here, and thank you so much, everybody. You know, appreciate the last minute or so there of interruption, but you know, David, let's get that that value-added proposition and how you look at your CEO, right? Client experience, employee engagement, in this case, independent contractors, people that join your organization, become team members and fellow business partners, and operational excellence. So, 30 seconds on client experience. Why should people do business with your business, Buena Salud, and what you're all about? What do you bring to the table that's different?
Because of the transformation it will create not only in your life, but the life of the people that you come in contact with. As we age, we want to live a better quality life. We want to enjoy our families. We want to go to weddings when this COVID thing is over. Weddings. We want to go to birthday parties. We want to go to graduations. We don't want to be a burden to them. And we certainly don't want to be a burden, not only in our 60s, but as you say, John, in our 50s and 40s, where cardiovascular disease starts accumulating and the signs start coming up. So the reason you should join me, the reason you should have the mindset I have, because you start early, you're guaranteed to live to 100, man, if you don't die before from some accident. But if in terms of quality of life, you just feel like you're going to live to 100, which is great. That's why you should join and do what, you know, the things. If not, you don't join me, that's fine. Do your own research and get into nitric oxide therapy.
I love it. I love it. So you shared a little bit of client experience there, and you shared a little bit of employee engagement and why people can come into the organization. Lastly, what's your operational excellence? How do you operate? You're starting to have 2 or 3 different product lines or services that you have now once you build your main business. You know, what is the operational excellence that you
Well, when a person comes into an organization, John, first thing I do is I sit down with them and I say, what is your passion? What attracted you to come into the company, or what attracted you? And they'll say, well, my passion is cardiovascular disease. Okay, then you need to go with a product that nitric oxide based. Let me give you the tools you will need. We have a website called Our Synergy Family, which gives you a lot of resources, tools, email campaigns. That's your marketing strategy. Maybe a person has got weight issues and they want, you know, to help people to have problems. They go on diets and they gain their weight back. Well, it might not be an issue about diet. It might be something to do with your biome, your gut health. And so put them into a marketing strategy to do with the microbiome, where you have to reset your gut health and train your bodies to crave for the things that are healthy for you rather than crave the things that are bad. Or a person might be really energy and like to exercise. Well, instead of having the Red Bulls and the things that are really, you know, are bad for you, high caffeine level things, you might go into the health and wellness side in a fitness center. We promote something called E9. So whatever the marketing strategy is, I tell them, go to this page, let's get you started by taking these initial steps with your marketing campaign. Learn it yourself, make sure you're good at what you do, make sure you have passion. I call this C, you know, make sure you feel special when you go in, make sure you're excited, and make sure you're an expert in your field. It's very, very important.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for sharing, you know, and another different interview today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you see the value of kind of all the different industries that we're bringing onto this channel and the types of entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders of companies, you know, non-traditional. We had a gentleman that owned a farm on one of our interviews, and now you're in the health and wellness space and going from entrepreneur as an employee to an entrepreneur and growing that side. So thank you so much, David. I really appreciate your time.
John, if I could just conclude real quick.
Yeah.
If you are like I was and you're in 4 walls and you look at the same 4 walls every day and you wish you could do something else, start off slow. Call me. Let me help you get started like I did. Your phone's going to start ringing between those 4 walls, and eventually you're going to segue out of it. So thanks for the opportunity, John. I appreciate it very much.
And leave your phone number then. Let's go.
All right.
Phone number
My phone
and your
number,
website there.
Yeah, my website is subuenasalud.net. Subuenasalud, SUBUENASALUD.net. Also, you can go to my YouTube page. It's called Growing Old Young with David Munoz. Growing Old Young with David Munoz. You'll see a few video testimonials there, a couple of, YouTube videos I did. And if you want to call me, my number, I use the 800 number because it's capacity to take voicemails a lot, but it'll ring to my cell phone. It's 1-800-786-2117. 1-800-786-2117.